first thing we're gonna do is remove both front wheels and tires. Then we're gonna come over here, remove the brake scraper from the knuckle. Then we're gonna remove these 2 bolts holding the caliper and caliper bracket to the knuckle. Then we're gonna remove the brake line hardware as well as the caliper, and then just lay the brake caliper out of the way for the time being. We're gonna remove the cotter pin from the castle nut, securing the hub to the knuckle. Once we've done that, we're gonna take a 30mm and remove the castle nut. Then the hub. Then we're gonna disconnect the tie rod from the knuckle. Sometimes the tie rod will be stuck in the knuckle, so what you're gonna wanna do is take a hammer and you're gonna hit the knuckle right here on this flat. Then you can just pull it right out of the knuckle, set it aside. We're gonna remove the cotter pin from the castle nut off of our lower ball joint, and we're gonna remove the castle nut. Once you've done this, you wanna take a hammer and we're gonna hit right here and right here and just kind of work it all the way around, tapping all the way around on the knuckle until the A-arm is free. Just like that, it'll drop right out. Then we're gonna remove our lower shock bolt. We're gonna go ahead and take a ratchet strap, wrap it around the frame or the cage, either one. We're gonna grab a hold of the knuckle and the A-arm, pick up, remove our bolt. We're gonna tie the shock up so we can get the axle removed from the knuckle. We're gonna pick up as high as we can, pull out on the bottom portion of the knuckle, and then just slide the axle out. What I like to do is take the tie rod, flip it up like that. That way it kind of holds the axle in place, keeps it out of the way. And we're gonna grab the knuckle, spin it around so it sits just like this. We're gonna go ahead and reconnect the shock to it. That way it holds everything in place. There's no need to put the nut on. We're just gonna stick the bolt through, just like that. Get this spun around. We're gonna remove our cotter pin from our castle nut here. We've already done so. So then we're gonna grab an extension in our socket and we're gonna remove the nut from the ball joint, just like so. And we're gonna take our hammer again, pulling down on the knuckle, just like this. Put a good amount of pressure downward. We're gonna hit the knuckle right here until it falls off the ball joint. Just like that. Then we're gonna set our knuckle aside, come in here, remove our shock bolt. Let the A-arm lay down. Tie our shock back up out of the way. Just like so. Just gonna take our caliper here and lay it right up by the front differential, lay it on top of the axle here just to get it out of the way for the time being. We're gonna go through and remove the lower A-arm bolts. We're gonna do the same for the upper A-arms. Go ahead and remove all the hardware. Once we have all the nuts removed, we're just gonna go through, remove our bolts, as well as the A-arms. Then we're gonna repeat all these steps on the opposite side, and they're all gonna be the same, except for one thing, and we're gonna show you that now. On the rearmost upper A-arm bolt, you'll have to access the nut from the inside of the machine, right through here. Next, we're gonna head over to the press and press our factory ball joints out of our factory A-arms. The first thing we're gonna do is Sit the A-arm up here, sit it somewhere where it's good and sturdy. We're gonna remove the snap ring off the ball joint. Just gonna take a pair of snap ring pliers. Get it lined up. Let's pull the snap ring right off. Set it aside. And we're gonna find something that sits around the ball joint, just like this. So it's gonna lay on the outside of the ball joint on the lip of the A-arm right here. And we're just gonna find something that fits on the ball joint, right here on the top of it. We're gonna use the socket. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a socket or something to press with, sit it on top of our other socket or something to press the ball joint out with. We're gonna get everything lined up. That way the ball joint presses out straight. And we're just gonna start pressing the press down here. Just continue pressing it until the ball joint comes out of the factory A-arm. Next, we're gonna be pressing our ball joints in to our SuperATV A-arms. What we're gonna do, we're gonna take our ball joint, slide it up into the ball joint housing on the A-arm. Make sure we get it as straight as possible. And we're gonna find something that just fits over the lip of the ball joint. You gotta find something that'll slide past this boot. This fits it a little bit tight, but it will slide past the boot without damaging it. We've done it numerous times. Then we're gonna find something that's wide enough on the bottom side so we can lay the A-arm just like this and the ball joint can press through. So we're gonna use this piece of piping here and then this piece to press the ball joint in. Just gonna lay it up here. Make sure we get it good and centered. We're just gonna press that ball joint in until it fully seats. Gonna go around. Make sure that our snap ring groove is visible all the way around, which it is. So once the ball joint's pressed in there, we're gonna go ahead and reinstall our snap ring. So we're just gonna lay our A-arm up here. Take the snap ring and the snap ring pliers. Open them up. Just go through. Make sure it goes down in the groove. Good. Looks like it's good all the way around. Now press the ball joint into your other upper A-arm. The next thing we're gonna do is press our factory bushings out of our factory A-arms. You're gonna see in your box from SuperATV, you're gonna have two tools. What we're gonna do is, whichever side you decide to press first, to remove the clip down inside of here, there's gonna be a clip on this side, as well as this opposite side. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna take our tool, we're gonna push this side over just a little bit so we can get down in there and remove that clip just that much easier. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take this, the longer of the two press tools, and take the shorter one, slide them into the vise, make sure it's good and centered. And you're not gonna wanna crank on it real hard just yet. Just gonna put a little bit of tension on it, just to push that bushing over enough to where we can get in there and get that clip. So just like that. And what we're gonna do, we're just gonna lay our A-arm up here. If you want to, you can take a rag, wrap around your factory A-arm so you don't damage it. Then we're gonna take a small pick, as small as you can get. And we're just gonna push down on this C-clip. It's gonna take quite a bit of force. You're just gonna have to press down as hard as you possibly can until that pick slides in behind that clip. Once it does, it's gonna pop it out just enough to where you can pull it up out of there. So what we're doing, we're just taking this pick and driving it down in there on that clip. Once you have it pulled out just a little bit, you're gonna take another pick. I like to use one with a hook on it. And you're just gonna start sliding it in. And you're just gonna continue working this clip up Try not to tear the boot of the bushing. And you're just going to rotate it all the way around just like that. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're just going to put the A-arm back in the vise, but this time we're just going to take this tool right here, the shorter of the two, slide it in on one side so that the side that has the bushing sticking out the most goes in just like this. So you're just going to push it until it looks just like this, to where the vise is sitting flat with the A-arm. As you can see, it's pushing this side out just a little bit. So we're going to sit our A-arm back in the vise. We're going to take our pick again, slide it down in between the clip, and this one looks like it's going to come out fairly easy. And just remove that clip. So now that both clips are removed, we're going to take the A-arm back out of the vise. Open the vise up wide enough so both the tools can fit. So we have the tool that's going to be used on the side that we're pressing through. So this side's already coming out, so we'll go ahead and just put it on this side. And we have our tool that's going to slide in side of the A-arm and push that bushing out. So we're going to get everything lined up in the vise. Make sure that this portion here is sitting as straight as you possibly can get it. That way that bushing pushes out with ease. As you can see there, it pushed it out. And there's our bushing. Now we're just going to repeat these steps for the rest of the bushings on the A-arms. Then we're going to press our bushings and do our SuperATV A-arms. So we got our new SuperATV A-arm here. We're going to start pressing our factory bushings in. So what we're going to do, we're going to get it started into our pivot block here on our lower A-arm. Just got to find out which side it slides in farther to. So this side looks like it's going to be the side that it presses in the farthest. What we're going to do, we're going to take our press tools that were included with the A-arms. We're going to get one side lined up. Then we're going to grab the other side, line it up as well. We're just going to go ahead and press this bushing in about halfway, about to this point right here. You can see we got about half of our tool sticking out. We're going to go ahead and loosen it back up, take it out of the vise. We're going to grab one of our clips, and we're going to slide it down on the side that hasn't been pressed in all the way yet. So we're just going to kind of compress it by hand, get it started down into the pivot block. So it'll be started just like that. And we're going to take our pick, hold one side, and push the other side down. And just kind of work this all the way down in there. And then it'll snap into the clip. You'll hear it. So it should look just like that with one side attached. And we're going to go ahead and get our press tools. Stick the A-arm back into the vise. Get everything all lined up and straight. And we're going to keep pressing this bushing in until we feel it go up against that clip. So right there, it's getting pretty tight. It's up against that clip pretty hard, and that's what you want. That way the opposite side bushing goes in nice and easy. So now what we're going to do, we're going to pull it back out here. We're just going to take our other clip, do the same exact thing. We're just going to get it started by hand, just like that. We're going to take our pick, and just push it all the way down. And as you can see here, this side of the bushing is sticking out just a little bit more than the opposite side. So what I like to do is just take one side of the tools. That's going to be the shorter, the open side. I'm just going to stick this A-arm in the vise a little bit here. And only get the bushing. You want to make sure you're not pressing on the pivot block or anything like that. and then just give it a little bit. You don't need to tighten it down. Just give it a little half turn. That way our bushings are gonna sit exactly the same on either side, and it's gonna install to the machine a lot easier. So then we're just gonna repeat all these steps for the rest of the bushings, and then we're ready to get these bad boys installed on the machine. Now that we have our bushings and ball joints installed to our upper A-arm, we're gonna go ahead and get it installed on the machine. Just gonna go ahead and get both of our bolts started in here. Get both of our nuts started. And we're gonna grab our knuckle. We're gonna slide it onto our upper ball joint. We're gonna take our nut, get it ran up. We're gonna go ahead and fully tighten our nut for our upper ball joint. Once the nut's tight, we'll go ahead and install our cotter pin. Then we're gonna pick up on the A-arm, grab the axle, and slide the axle in through the bearing, just like that. We're gonna take our shock loose. Pick the A-arm up until the shock lines up. Put the bolt through, and go ahead and get our nut started as well. Then we're gonna go through and we're gonna tighten our shock bolt hardware and both of the bolts securing the A-arm to the frame of the machine. We got those nice and tight, so now we're gonna grab our lower A-arm, slide it into position here. Gonna go ahead and get our bolts started for the lower A-arm. Once we have the bolt started, we're gonna attach the knuckle to the lower A-arm, just like that. We're gonna grab our castle nut, go ahead and get it started on there. Then we're gonna go through, fully tighten our lower A-arm hardware, tighten up our lower ball joint castle nut, and install our cotter pin. Next, we're gonna take our tie rod and reinstall it into our knuckle. Grab our nut, go ahead and get it started on the tie rod end threads here. Then we're gonna grab our hub, get it slid back onto the splines of the axle. Just pick up on it, wiggle it around, and it'll go right on. You're gonna make sure that you reinstall your factory washer and the castle nut. Next, we're gonna grab our caliper, make sure that it's routed like so around the shock. Slide it onto the rotor. We'll go ahead and get our bolt started into the caliper mounting bracket. Then we're going to grab our brake scraper. Go ahead and install it as well. Then we're going to go through, fully tighten all our hardware, make sure that we put a cotter pin on our tie rod end, as well as our castle nut for our axle. SuperATV's A-arms are pre-adjusted, but if you'd like to adjust the camber, all you'd have to do is remove your lower A-arms, loosen the jam nuts on the pivot blocks, and then thread them in or thread them out, depending if you need to adjust the camber in, negative, or out, positive. Reinstall your factory brake line to your new SuperATV upper A-arm using your factory hardware. Reinstall your front wheels and tires, and that's how super easy it is to install our high clearance A-arms on a Honda Talon 1000X. For more information on these A-arms or any SuperATV's great products, feel free to give us a call at 855-743-3427 or check us out online at superatv.com. Thanks for watching and have a great day.